shining like the sun. It radiates on everyone. And the more that I get, the more I've got to get. It's the way that I live. It's what I'm living for. Deep inside my heart, I've got this everlasting light. It's shining like the sun. It radiates on everyone. And the more that I get, the more I've got to get. It's the way that I live. It's what I'm living for.
One more time.
Deep inside my heart, I've got this everlasting light. Is shining like the sun. It radiates on everyone. And the more that I get, the more I've got to get. It's the way that I live. It's what I'm living for.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yay. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Kauai. My name is Michelle LeMay, and as you find your seats and get settled, I'll be sharing some things that we have going on, and everything that I chat about, I forgot to bring one in for myself, we have listed on the program that you received when you walked in. So please refer to that for different times and pricing for things, but we've got lots going on. Starting right here today after service, we'll have our Women in Consciousness group meeting, which will be here in the center. And of course, it's always after a little bit of fellowship. We always love our treats and wanting to connect with each other. And then we'll circle up. The men will have their men's mindful treehouse, and they go outside somewhere out there. It's undisclosed to us ladies. But I'm sure you find some shade and some fun. And we gather up today to do that. Every third Sunday of the month, we have our groups that we get together. And then next Saturday, we have something that's going to be really a lot of fun and nourishing for yourself and the center. And it's being put on by our beautification team, which is Reverend Diane and Sue Buckley. We are... Yes. Yes, absolutely. And Reverend Patrick will be taking names for those who would like to come and help beautify the center. We have an official clipboard and everything, but that's going to be on Saturday, and that's from 8 to 2, and lunch will be provided, and there will be things to help spruce up the center. So please come with lots of love to spread around to change the energy, and any window skills that you have, or carpet skills, or whatever else the team is being led to do. But please, if you feel called to be of service, let Reverend Patrick know so that we know how much to expect for lunch. And if you also have squeegees, buckets, sponges, gloves, things like that, that would be super helpful as well. So that's going to be Saturday from 8 to 2. And then we have the last Friday of the month, we always have our spiritual cinema. So that's going to be on the 25th. And this month, we have a really funny mystical movie called Sedona. So if you haven't seen this, and even if you have, you'll want to come join us. That's going to be at 6:30 on Friday the 25th. And Sedona it's so funny. So how many of you have been to Sedona? Okay, so first of all, it's beautiful. And so the actual imagery through the movie is really spectacular. And if you haven't been there, it's a great way to actually see Sedona. But if you've been there and you know, or even if you've lived here a little bit, all the different quirky characters that Sedona has that we also have here come to play in this movie. And then, of course, there's always a lesson. There's always a spiritual lesson to all the movies that we see here. But this one's definitely a fun, light, humorous way to get our spiritual message for this month. And then we do have a workshop that's beyond words. It's your mental equivalent. And there's a little booklet that we've been talking about called The Mental Equivalent by Emmett Fox. And that's out back in the bookstore if you're wanting to check that out. But that's going to be the Revs doing that one on the 30th. What'd you say? Yeah, the Revs are going to rev it up. Yes, actually. We're going to rev it up so we can find out what is happening in our mental equivalent to see what we want to bring into our lives, because that's what creates our lives. And then we have Flying Solo. A few more signups happened today, so there are only a few more spots for this Flying Solo, which is an amazing way in a creative way, to really find something to express to the rest of us about your life and what you've learned and the journey through it. And it's really been something that's nourishing and life-changing for many of us who have done that. So there are only a couple more spots left, so if you're wanting to know more about that, for those who've done Flying Solo before, could you raise your hands? I have two, Harry. Great. There's quite a few of us, so If you want to find out more, or you have questions, or you have something that might be holding you back, we can help you through that. And check out these folks and myself as well to find out more. All right, well, thank you for your kind attention, everyone. And I'd love to introduce Reverend Patrick and Reverend Rita.
Mahalo, Michelle. Aloha, everyone.
Michelle. Aloha, everyone.
And who do we have over here? We have our beautiful Maria Cristina.
Thank you.
Yes, and so we'd like to start out with peace. Is everyone in favor of that, perhaps? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Just keep knowing that it starts right here where we are. Starts right here where we are. And it starts right here where we are as we light our peace candle. Just take a moment of silence to remember that as it goes out into the world. And so it is.
Thank
Good
you
morning,
for
Reverend
that.
Rita.
Good morning, Reverend Patrick. I think we already said good morning once.
That
Can
married
always say
thing
it
does
again,
it every
right?
time.
So good morning again, everyone. And thank you for coming to Center for Spiritual Living, Kauai. You are the people, you are the spirits, you are the light that makes this possible every Sunday, because you bring your glorious, amazing beings here to share that with all of us. And in the Center for Spiritual Living, that's what we believe, that each and every person is a divine expression of that light and that love and that energy and that source that is all that there is. It's all that there is. It's in everything. And the more that we can see it in everything, the more that everything that it is appears in form. That's the truth. That's called the mental equivalent, which we'll be talking a lot about today. So, yeah, so welcome.
Welcome. And who's here for the very first time? There we go. I like it when they go, well, do they? Yeah, we recognize you. Anyone else for the very first time? All righty. Well, we're not going to get all crazy, but we have a lot of love in this space. I'm sure you can feel that already. But we do know a little something about you. So isn't that great when you come for the first time that we know something about you? And we'd like to share it with you. So shall we let her know? Them? Yeah. Okay. You are magnificent. Isn't that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful news? And we know that about you because, why? We know it about ourselves. Just like peace, we can't have peace unless we have peace within ourselves. Same with love. We cannot love others until we fully love ourselves. And just like this, we cannot know our magnificence everyone you until we know it in ourselves. So there we go. And so not only that, but there's a camera back here. Don't let it intimidate you, unless somebody doesn't know you're here. And then they do now.
They have to say it to themselves first.
Yeah, what's that?
They need to say it to themselves first.
Oh, that's right. We need to say it together.
Yes.
I've
dear.
only been doing it for 4 years. Thank you.
Next week, the talk title is Good Night, Gracie. Well, I think we're experiencing it right now.
Wow. It's okay. We have a full hour for me to go on back, darling. So you just go on.
No, I just want everyone to say it for themselves.
All right.
Put your hand on your heart and let yourself know that you are magnificent.
I am magnificent.
Okay.
As I was saying.
And you too.
I am magnificent. Oh, wow. We're just, this is who we are. Back to the camera. the camera, there's a lot of people peering in on us today, wanting to know what's going on CSL Kauai. But we don't keep a secret. We're not Vegas. We let everybody know what's going on. So let them know what's going on. You are magnificent. And now look to your left, to your right, to Rita, to anybody, and just let them know they're magnificent, magnificent. You are magnificent. You are. It's crazy. It's crazy. Magnificent. So why don't you just get up out of your seats and let's have an opening song and continue this magnificence. What do you say?
Away, away. So much loving in the world. Away, away. So much loving in the world. Living together as one. Under the golden sun. Living together as one. Under the golden sun. Blow Makani. Cleanse my soul. Blow Makani. Cleanse my soul.
It's just one of those days, baby. But let me tell you how it is. When you've been doing this for a while, Spirit just says, kick back, let me do it for you. So this is what I know in this moment. I know the Spirit is running through everything, seen and unseen. It's right here. It's right now. It's not hiding, never has hid, and never will hide again, because we are aware of where that love is, where that unconditional thing called Spirit is. So with wide eyes, I look out and see God looking back at God. I know through the music is God playing that music. Good is playing that music. So I just say yes to it all. And I know that we have come here on divine purpose. There are no accidents. There have never been, and there never will be. We are right in alignment. We are in unison with Spirit. And whatever happens today in this moment is all about love, is all about celebration. Celebration of you, celebration of me, celebration of this planet, celebration of this divine thing called life. So I just say yes to it all. We let it go from that place of law, that place of Spirit, as together we say, and so it is.
Away, away. So much loving in the world. Away, away. So much loving in the world. Living together as one. Under the golden sun. Living together as one. Under the golden sun. Blow Makani. Cleanse my soul. Blow Makani. Cleanse my soul.
Yeah. We are unplugged today.
Well, hello. Hello. Awfully nice to see you. If you don't know who I am, I'm Rob Jones. I'm the guy that's usually behind the camera. And I get to say it this week. I'm one of the new practitioners. Yay. Now, I get to remember what I was trying to practice. So, just because Patrick had a slip of the memory too, I feel honored to be in his company. So, anyway, let's calm down. Relax in your chair if you could. And I'm going to do the meditation today. And please, I invite you to close your eyes if you'd like and go within, because I have a quote from John Updike. Rain is grace. Rain is the sky descending to the earth. Without rain, there would be no life. Rain is grace. Rain is the sky descending to the earth. Without rain, there would be no life. is grace. Rain is the sky descending to the earth. Without rain, there would be no life. And what I know here and now is that this room, this island, this world is bathed in the grace of Spirit, the love of Spirit, the peace of Spirit that always descends from what we might even call heaven to the form where we are, each and every one of us surrounded and enveloped in the grace and ease of Spirit's love and support. And so I declare in this moment today that everything that needs to be heard and said is heard and said with ease and grace. Grace to support us in everything we endeavor to do, everything that we aspire to. And so I give great thanks. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo for all of our manifestations that are always grounded in grace. And so I release my word, which truly is the word of grace, into the law, as we say together, and so it is.
It's in your program, the chant that we do at this time.
You are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, you are held in the hands of grace. You are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, you are held in the hands of grace. You are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, you are held in the hands of grace.
Thank you, Rob. Mahalo. I'm up. Yeah. Lots happening this week, right? Just goes on and on and on and on. And here we are. And we'll always be. I know. So this topic of grace has been so great for me because I think I really never, I knew what it was on like a level of maybe thinking I knew what it was, but having to actually investigate it more and think about it more and meditate on it more and gave me more of a clarity about what it is. And I hope that that same thing has come across this month, that we're getting clearer and clearer, if we weren't already, or even if we were, getting more expansive in the idea of grace and living in grace. If any of us were brought up in Christian philosophy, we know that what grace means in that philosophy. And in this philosophy, it means the same thing in a different way. And I found this thing on the internet that was saying it said 6 myths about grace. But what I realized was that they were 6 truths about grace, because they actually are just the switch of what we believe grace is. And grace, the first one was grace is free. Grace is free. We don't have to do anything or give anything to get grace. It's free. We're already living in a state of grace. We just have to recognize it. And we talked about this month. The other thing is grace is unconditional. This is not a myth. This is truth. Grace is unconditional. In other words, it's unconditional love, like Patrick talked about this week, a couple of weeks ago. Grace is unconditional love. It is. No matter what's happening, grace is unconditional love. The other truth was grace excuses sin. Now, in this philosophy, we don't believe in sin in that way, okay? We don't believe you can do something wrong and be punished for it. What we do believe is you can make a mistake and get off-balanced or unaligned or make a choice that kind of doesn't really serve you, and then you might fall off the wagon for a minute. But grace is not going away. It's still there, and it's still ready for you when you're ready to just say, hey, I love myself, and this doesn't really work for me, so you know what? I'm going to step over here again. And so it excuses everything. And it surpasses, what do we say? Grace and forgiveness surpasses the law of cause and effect. So everyone has grace was another myth. Well, no, it's not a myth, it's the truth. And we already just kind of belabored the point. Everybody has it. There's nobody that doesn't have it. Everyone's created equal. We all came into this world in a state of grace. And the other was you cannot fall from grace. Well, you only can fall into grace. That's really all you could do. So if you're falling anywhere, you're falling into grace. And no matter what's happening in your life, you're still falling into grace because grace never gives up on us. And then the other myth was you can receive more grace. That's a myth. That is not a myth. That is the truth. Because in our philosophy, we believe that we can embody more and more expansion all the time. We can grow in grace. So we're always growing in it because we're like a work in progress in that in our conscious world and our objective world, we're still remembering who we are. And more these days, we are really remembering who we are. I really believe that. And I stick firm with that. So sometimes when we're remembering who we are, everything else can look kind of chaotic. But in reality, it's just because there's more light. And it's that the little things are just coming up more to be known and to be healed. So I just wanted to go over that because I thought it was really, when I looked it up, it was great. And then I discovered this other guy. His name, please forgive me if somebody knows how to pronounce his name. I pronounce it the way I thought should be pronounced. And it's Panache Desai. Does that sound? Well, he said the panache first, but anyway, okay, all right, Desai. Okay, Desai's right. We'll just call him Sir Desai. Anyway, he wrote, when you are in harmony with yourself, everything unfolds with ease and grace. And today we're talking about ease and grace. When you're in harmony with yourself, everything unfolds in ease and grace. And when we do spiritual mind treatments, for myself, I always go, let it be done in ease and grace, whatever it is the person is wanting to realize, because we don't want to have experiences, I don't think, that are not easy and graceful, but we tend to, sometimes we either learn through bitter experience or through realization. A lot of times we do learn through bitter experiences, that we well know. In fact, there's something called fierce grace that Ram Dass talked about, right? And that would be the kind that you go through some kind of traumatic experience, but you're brought back to grace and you learn something about yourself. And I've had plenty of those in my life, and I still continue to have plenty of them. But he says when you're in harmony with yourself, everything unfolds with ease and grace. And I totally get that. And I totally get that there has been so many times in my life where I have not been in harmony in myself for one reason and one reason only. And that was the next quote I found by him. I went, wow, this guy's great. He said, if you are living to be liked, you are suffering. It is painful to live a life where the best you can hope to be achieved is to be liked. Any people pleasers out there? Don't raise your hand. It's okay. Oh my God. And so what happens when you're living your life to be liked, which, and the interesting thing about me is I say I'm living my life to be liked sometimes. I think I'm wanting to be liked, but I'll do everything that is not going to make me liked. Like things that I do, like in my family, like, you know, running away from home or deciding to move to Hawaii or whatever, you know, these kind of things telling the truth, that I do them anyway. We do them anyway, right? Most of the time, we do them anyway. And then we go, oh, nobody likes me. They're talking behind my back. Oh my God, what are they saying about me? Well, I guess that does create suffering. Think about it. Because even though I'm doing what I want to do, I'm still carrying the burden of what everybody else thinks about me. And take my word, when you're in my position here, it's a big one. Because lots of people think things about me. I know they do. Fortunately, they don't say half the things they think, and I'm glad. But, but you know, if you're a people pleaser, it can become, and any of us can recognize that. If we're people pleasers, we can live in a lot of suffering trying to be people pleasers. So, and we can't be people pleasers and then live in harmony with ourselves, right? So, yeah, so then what ends up happening, things don't unfold with ease and grace. Everything we're trying to do ends up like kind of struggling, or we feel kind of bad the whole time, and that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're teaching this book called The Mental Equivalent, teaching it. We're going to explore it together on the 30th of August. The cute little class, and it's an amazing, cute little book that is so powerful. It's like only like 24 pages or something. It's really short. Emmett Fox wrote it, who was a Unity teacher and minister and philosopher and whatever else, mystic, whatever you want to call him. And one of the things he said in there that I really got this week, and it has to do with this, is that he said, okay, everything is created with our thought and our feeling, okay? So I give you a challenge this week to go, because I did it and it was amazing. I sat there and I thought, why am I experiencing this? And then I started to monitor my thoughts. And I started to monitor the ones that had the most feelings and the conversations that I was having about those things. And I went, wow, you're really worked up about this, Rita. You're really worked up, and there's all the feelings. So I'm looking out at the world, and it's showing me exactly that. And then he says, like, okay, you say, oh, well, I just really hate my job. That's not me. Oh, I really hate my job, and I love my job. Anyway, I'm just using it as an example because it's a common one. I really hate my job. I wish I wasn't at my job, and those people, and you've got all this like feeling like attached to it. And then you go, oh, but God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. You don't have any feeling behind it. Get it? So I really challenge everybody to I invite you to just kind of look at that. If you think something's not showing up in your life that you want to have shown up, just kind of get in touch with that, because it definitely has to do with ease and grace. That was one thing I discovered. And then this other thing is that we walk in destiny. These are the two things, death and destiny. We walk because in death, it says, because we don't know necessarily how much time we have left. So it's always kind of over us. Sometimes we don't think about it, like, oh, I'm not going to die. Especially when you're younger, you'll just do anything and keep going. We don't really deal with it, and I know there's a whole ministry based on that whole idea of conscious dying. So we walk with death, and we walk, which allows us to know, they're gifts really, that allows us to know we don't have all the time in the world here. So are we going to make use of that time, which is our destiny? Now, not our destiny like preordained destiny, but our destiny of what are we here to do? So what are we here for? Like, I have to ask myself this every day. When you're doing something like Patrick and I are doing, it changes, and you're constantly asking yourself, as all things evolve and people come in and out and they leave and new people come and people stay and things change and people say things and you're just like, wow, did I really say that? What am I doing here? I have to constantly, in our lives, we have to constantly look at what am I doing here and why am I doing it and what is the purpose behind it. And the most important thing is, like that first quote said, is it in harmony with myself? Because if it's in harmony with myself, then everything is unfolding in ease and grace. So anytime I get off the mark or I start to go into that other field of people pleasing or whatever it is, whatever we've talked about, or the things we experience, or money, or any of that stuff, I have to pull myself back. One thing that really works for me, if I feel like helpless, hopeless, or whatever, or I can't do anything about a situation, I will do something I can do. I will go to the computer and start creating a flyer or writing in my book or something that is really creative. And it will get my mind off that other stuff and bring myself back into alignment. That could be something as easy as going for a walk, but sometimes that doesn't help, because sometimes when you're on the walk, you don't even know that you're on a walk because you're thinking about the thing still. So for me, it's like I have to pull, maybe I'm ADD, I don't know. I have to pull my attention back to center by doing something that I love. So I think this idea of destiny, walking with death and destiny, and being aligned with your true self is really the key to grace, walking in grace, and having your life be in ease and grace. And I think sometimes people will come and say, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. I think Patrick talked about that last week. Did you? Maybe you did. I don't know. But if he doesn't, he'll talk about it again, I'm sure. They go, I don't know what I want. Well, how do you expect something to manifest if you don't know what you want? Think about it. So are you afraid? Are we afraid to ask for what we really want? I've been talking with a good friend of mine, and he's going through all kinds of changes right now too, and it's bringing up stuff for him, like, he has a really big divine purpose, and he's still asking, what do I want? He still has to ask himself that every day and get really clear on it. Because what ends up happening, it's just like always bringing yourself back to center, always bringing yourself back to who and what you are. It doesn't mean you have to have a big purpose in life, as far as, like, I have a friend, she just loves to party. I mean, in a good way. She loves to go to Disneyland. She loves to be with friends. She loves to go see shows. She loves, and then there's another part of her that's going, why am I doing what Rita's doing? Why don't, what's the matter? No, that's what she wants, and that's her life, and it makes her happy, and she has a lot of joy, and she could teach other people to do that by being an example, because that's the biggest thing, right? So it doesn't have to be, when we say a destiny or a purpose, it doesn't have to be some big expansive thing, because anything you do is going to be big because you're doing it. And our purpose really is to glorify that presence that's within us. And for those of you who are here the first time or aren't familiar with this philosophy, we do not believe in an outside God. We do not believe in an outside heaven. It's all happening inside of us. It's all happening within our consciousness. And everything that we see in this world, we have to take responsibility, because it's coming from us. And the more that we can change and get aligned with that place within us that's easy and graceful, I'm telling you, it changes, because we start to look at things a lot differently, and things can't stay the same. They can't. Everything's always changing, and I trust that, and I trust that it's grace even when it looks fierce. So if I just had to say one thing to just wrap this all up, I'd just say what Sir Desai said here: when you are in harmony with yourself, everything unfolds with ease and grace. So I just invite us, let's just all take the time, really take the time to get in harmony with ourselves and what we love. It's all about joy. And so it is. Thank you, Maria.
Infinite One, please help me recall your warm and tender embrace. In moments when I forget who I am, please whisper messages to me, so that I may remember that I am loved. Please help me always remember that I am love, that I am love, I am love, I am I am love. I am love. I am love. I am love. Prema. Infinite One, please help me recall your warm and tender embrace. In moments when I forget who I am, please whisper messages to me. Infinite One, please help me always to feel your warm and tender embrace. So I no longer forget who I am, right in your warm and tender embrace. Please whisper messages to me. Whisper messages into me. Whisper messages through me until we are one completely, eternally. Thank you.
Thank you. Mahalo. There's a whole nother vibe today, yes? Ease and grace. Wow. I feel in a whole different vibration right now than I was thinking this month of doing this whole idea of grace. I remember the first week we talked that lovely telling the stories from home with my father and how you can find unconditional love in dysfunction. And that's always a lovely topic, and we won't be going there today. But whoever was here a couple of weeks ago, it was all about unconditional love. And someone actually, I was at an event, and they had this little game they were playing, the saying, you know, who was your mentor and all of this stuff? And I was just like paralyzed going, oh my God. You know, my mom was my mentor, but I was looking for one, and I didn't have a lot of them. But I realized all my mentors were people that didn't make the best decisions. And they became my best mentors. And I had to really grasp that. And so it just made life not so victimized. It just made me go, wow, you were a mess and I decided not to be. What a great lesson that is. And so I always thank all of those lovely people in my life that have done that for me. I was thinking when Rita was talking about not an outside God, and I know that's sometimes kind of a little scary, not for maybe anybody in this room, but maybe. And I was watching this lovely little thing that someone told us, Father Brown. It's a PBS or CBS or something. We don't watch a lot of TV, but it was enjoyable to watch. And they had this scene, and this guy was saying, the reason I killed him was because God, it was divine intervention. And I love this priest had this moment. He said, don't use God as your scapegoat. And I went, wow, it's kind of like this philosophy to the degree, take responsibility, not blame. Take responsibility. Do you guys remember that song? I know some of you do, from the 60s. I didn't know who it was, but I had to look it up. The Seed. That's a group called The Seeds or something like that. You're pushing too hard. You're pushing too hard. You're pushing too hard on me. I'm here all week. Thank you very much. You can applaud. Thank you very much. And it kept running in my head. You're pushing too hard, and that's basically all they had. But what they were talking about was his girlfriend. You're pushing too hard. You're making me work. You're telling me not to drink. You're telling me, And so you're pushing too hard, and I'm going to leave you. But I took it another way. Of course. You're pushing too hard. Boy, anybody ever been there? You're pushing too hard. Suffering and all of the above in that category is human-made. We have to remember that. At least I do. I remember that this is all human-made. There is no grace, no divine spirit that said, I got an obstacle course for you called earth. And I'm going to make things so all over the place that you're going to spend your entire life figuring it out. Yeah, I believe that God's getting to know God through me. Wow, doesn't that feel powerful? This morning when I do a daily blog on Facebook, and I was sitting there thinking about this idea of pushing too hard, you're pushing too hard. And I looked out of the window, and there was a little cat named Gypsy, as for Gypsy Rose Lee. And she's never done this. They're outdoor cats, but she sat on the table out there, and here I am, and there's the window. And she just sat there and checked out the whole place, calm, with lots of curiosity. And I love that, calm, but lots of curiosity. And it's a picture on Facebook in case you want. But so I got my camera because, of course, we have to try to capture every moment. We just can't let a moment just be a moment. But I have to let the whole world know that I just had a moment. But that's another. But that's just the whole thing I'm working out. So you nothing for you. But some people benefit by thought, Patrick, could you just have this moment? Oh no, let's document it. But regardless, I digress. And I'm looking out at this little cat. And I thought, this is how simple life is supposed to be. To look at it with calm, life with calm, and yet curious. And I'm thinking, well, what's this whole idea of working so hard? Who taught it? Well, my parents, and you work 9 jobs, and then you'll be able to have this. And exactly, that's what I said. I said, no. And the whole idea behind it was this whole idea of working hard, and it's instilled in us. Did anybody have that growing up, that kind of feeling like if you worked really hard? I remember when I was an aerobic teacher. I know you're going to find that hard to believe, but I was this aerobic teacher because I had all this energy. I know you'll find that hard to believe. So, and it was in the day when there was none of that step nonsense. This was grounded, and getting everybody, and they were saying, I love your energy, man. And I have to tell a secret, which I will. Hello. I auditioned for Richard Simmons to do his, yes, there's a whole nother side of Patrick. I'm sure you've all guessed at that, and no need to talk behind my back about it. But here's the deal. So I'm auditioning for Richard, and Richard has a little energy. And so, and as an actor, all you're doing is looking for another job to pay the bills. So I thought, well, I'll keep me in shape and I'll be able to do it. And I remember moving and moving and just moving and moving and really, you know, like, ha, 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 and then smiling the whole time, ha, ha, you know, come on, woo, you know, and then, but with much more flair. And he said, and different outfit, thank you. But he said to me, you're pushing too hard. And I went, that's the pot calling the kettle black. But hell, that was Judgment live here at CSL Kauai. But he said, you're pushing too hard, and I really got it. Because that's where no one wants to see you sweat, man. And I was like, look how good I am, You know, I was doing all this stuff, and then, you know, sweat's coming down me, and my heart is like racing really fast. But but when he said pushing too hard, I thought to myself, in life, we're pushing too hard. And there is ease and there is grace that is being asked. So does that mean that if we have ease and grace that nothing gets done? No, everything gets done. Everything. And I know in this growing a center, I know Rita and I, you know, could be considered, sometimes we're pushing too hard. And even in that, Rita and I were walking, I'll tell a little, you know, we always tell everything anyway. But we're walking down, we're watching people on Kauai, you know, having, you know, barbecue and all of that stuff. And, you know, it takes Rita and I a lot to go out and do social. I mean, if you know us, you'll kind of know that. And not because we're not social people, but it's because we're always on to another project, another growth spurt, another idea, which takes all of this beautiful energy that we love, and we get fooled sometimes thinking that that's entertainment, that it's ease and grace, and it is. I'll get it. You know what? It's amazing. God will call me anywhere. But if I believed in an outside God, that is. So ease and grace, it just got me all week thinking I've had this wonderful month of finding unconditional love in my dysfunctional family and finding such grace there. Ever since that talk I did at the beginning of the month, I have found it in every area of my life since then. And then last week we got very upset because so much is going on in our world right now. So much now, Barcelona, since we spoke. We're not afraid to talk about the events that are going on. And it just keeps seeming to get more and more and more. And so what I learned last week is that the world is not out of alignment. We are with that thing that is always on the mark. So what do we learn about ease and grace? Well, Walt Disney, I watched another one of his little documentaries, but it was an actual movie. And he learned all of his pushing from his father. And here's the guy, the happiest man on earth, and I was watching the movie and he's eating out of a garbage can. Yeah, surprising, right? Because you're like sitting there thinking when he passed away, he donated $50 million for the Disney Center in Los Angeles. $50 million. And that was just, you know, because I have a little extra. But he was eating out of a garbage can, the happiest man on earth, and created the happiest place on earth, and had a moment where he was eating out of the garbage can. And actually, I'm not judging eating out of a garbage can. We throw away a lot of food that feeds a lot of people. So if it fed him, that was wonderful too. But what I got from him, his life never turned around. He never stopped until there was the ease and grace of him saying, I don't want to work for anybody else. I have this idea, and I'm going to work for myself. And when he decided that and he made a decision, his life turned around. Because he was trying to, as Rita was saying, please, people please, do you like me? Do you like me? Do you like my stuff? Do you like my mouse? Do you like my, well, they loved the mouse, but do you like this? Do you like this? And I'm telling you, it really hit me, Rita, when you said that. Once that ends, that people pleasing, and if anybody in the room raises their hand and says, I'm not a people pleaser, then I will actually hand the mic over to you and you can take over this center, because somewhere we are trying to please. And that spirit within me never asked me to do that. that spirit in me said, I am you, man. Now act like it. I am you. You don't have to prove anything. That whole proving thing, my whole life, I think I spent a good portion of it proving that I was worthy, proving that I was enough. And nobody asked me to do that either. I try to get back into my family and go, they really forced that. And they didn't do that. My family didn't do that. Patrick did. Ease and grace. Ease and grace. When I think of that cat just sitting there thinking, whatever it's thinking as it's looking in the cage at us, looking in at us and saying, wow, life. Do you feel the different ease about it? So, in wrapping this, how do we, it's interesting because we talk a lot. The one thing I have a problem with a lot is talking a lot of theory and then not doing anything about it. And that's where I'm at in my life. All of this, all of these quotes, all of the stuff, all the madness means nothing if we don't use it. It's like somebody will say, oh, I remember growing up, that was the best line ever used. He's just that way. Have you ever heard that one? Oh, I know, he's just that way. Well, guess what? I just know something. This is how, what about my way? I have a way too. Disney had a way. Like Rita said, it's not about doing these big things, but I say during the day, if you can just be kind to your fellow man, and I'm going to tell you another revelation that happened since last week. I feel like there's a real planetary shift going on right now. And it's not just because of the eclipse. And please do not blame your bad moods and your stuff on that eclipse tomorrow. Because I've already seen it all coming. Whoa, now I know why my life sucks today. The eclipse is tomorrow, and that's okay, because it's done unto you as you believe. So that's really okay too. But I think there's another side, something's happening in this world. And no names mentioned. But I found love. Brief moment for someone who's been running things, or at least attempting to, has been running things. And I found in my heart an opportunity to love. And it shocked me to no end. Because I have been so caught up in a bitch fest that, can you say that on TV? And I wasn't going to even talk about it, but I'm going to end with it. Because I have had a big distraction since around November-ish. Big distraction. And I'm not going to blame anyone. You don't get the credit for my life not working. We have a planet here that is aligned perfectly. And it is real easy to love those that are just like you. But boy, is it not easy when someone is doing things that we do not approve of. Does that mean that I want to have lunch with all the people that I feel? No. Not that they would ask me, but does that land anywhere? I know it goes in the face of everything we believe in. I know that. But I literally, in that moment, almost broke down and just cried because I didn't think I could actually love that much in order to love something that I felt was destroying it. But I thought if I could love a father that was destroying a family and come out from that, I can certainly love someone who knows not what they do, even though it appears that way. And to me, that is grace, that is freedom, and I will end with a freedom. Grace, no, let's just land with that a minute. Yeah, let's just sit with that. That's real love. That's that love that goes so deep that says, you hurt me so badly that I am capable because I live in grace of love. And if you can't feel it now, it's okay. Exactly. It's okay. Because we will, because it's what we're made of. When I can see the face of God in everything, then I will be free. So take a moment right now with me and just close your eyes. And anything that's in there that you feel that you cannot touch and forgive, just be with it. Just be with it. And let it go down to the very, very core of our being, which has no beginning and no end. And what I know in this moment is that grace is here to support, to hold, and to love us. And as we love ourselves, that love permeates us and goes from us. In the silence, there is love. Take this journey with me, please. We need it. And so it is. Yes. Aloha, everyone. Namaste. Never know where you're going in life. Hey, Maria, what are you up to?
You do me a favor, because I feel like I can't just go into the next. Could you do the Hands of Grace again? I know we. Let's just sing it once together. We need something to ground us, okay?
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
You are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, you are held in the hands of grace. You are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, you are held in the hands of grace.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. So it's our time for forgiving. And yes, forgiving. And I totally so appreciate the gifts that are given here today and always that assist in this center moving forward and doing its work, not just here in Kauai, but on our planet and in the world. So thank you for what you give today, for what you always give, and for the consciousness especially that you give. So let us just read the affirmation in the program, all right, together? Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I give freely today, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have.
Well, I know I'm blessed because I get to do some practicing for the abundance, the wonderful abundance that flows into these baskets with the ease and grace that keeps the flow coming to CSL. Like John Updike said, without the rain flowing in, there is no life. Without the flow of the abundance, there is no life for CSL to flow out into the community. And that is what we do and what we give thanks for. And so it is.
Sorry. I need to say something to
Mahalo.
Stephanie, so take it for a minute. Stephanie.
Oh, there you go. So back to me. So guess what? You know over here, we have that our vision and that wonderful little bank, our fundraising thing. It's not here. And that's not because it's over, because it just begun. But we put it out in the main entryway so that you can see it. And it's just, we've been collecting. And what was it that we found after you, over $1,000?
Over
right?
$1,000 from
In
change.
our little, in
It's awesome.
change and
Yay.
bills. So we're very, very happy about that. So
We want to just talk a moment about our children. We're very grateful for George and for Janice because we're revamping our whole children's program, our whole curriculum, and we are going to start on September 10th with a new program. And it's wonderful. We're really excited and grateful for that and for their service. And what we're doing on September 9th, which is a Saturday from 2 to 5, we're having like an open house. And we're going to have a lot of fun. We've got some games and things and music and drumming and all kinds of things planned to invite the children from the community that might be interested in coming and being part of the center and having this wonderful time with two wonderful people, Janice and George, and whoever else decides to step up to help them. But so on Saturday, the 9th of September from 2 to 5, it's in your program. And please spread the word, and it'll be a great afternoon. I know, pizza and all kinds of fun stuff.
we have
All
lots
right?
of good things coming on. And I'll be
Yeah.
out there at the end with
So-
my clipboard for this Saturday's clean-a-thon, as Sue calls it. Reverend Diane and Sue will be there, and it is 9 o'clock that you have to be there, so you get to sleep in an extra hour while we never let us see us sweat between 8 and 9 to get ready for you.
So let's just take a moment after all this announcements just to bless the children, all right? Because we
Yes,
didn't
let's.
do that. So let's just take
Where's
a moment.
Itukai? Come on up, you guys.
Yeah, come on up.
Come on up.
We want to acknowledge you,
There
the
we
ones that are
go.
here today. Let's just take a moment to look at these beautiful kids.
That's our head,
There,
of the group here, Kaua'i.
Yeah, Kiali's been with us since the very beginning of CSL, and Itukai is our newest member right now. But just to take a moment to look at their beautiful faces. Yay. And to acknowledge that they're living their dreams and that they're becoming amazing in every moment and doing amazing things in this world, and that they have no obstacles in their path. They can be whatever they want to be in all its greatness, in all its amazing wonder, and all its creativity. And that's what I know about them and about all the kids in the world, and that they're guided and directed and divinely protected at all times. Let's say together, and so it is. Thank you.
So it is. He loves you, babe.
Okay. So after service, there will be some practitioners up here. Who are they today? Please raise your hand if you're going to be up here. Malia, and who's joining Malia? She the only practitioner in service today? Rob, but he's back. He'll be up here in a minute. So wait for Rob if you want to. But they'll be up here to do spiritual mind treatment and for something that you might want to experience in your life right now.
And if
All
not,
right?
we have the box,
And
the
if
yes
not, we have
box
the
out
yes
there, and
box
we'll
in the
put
back.
you in
All
our
right, you can put your
treatment
prayer
store.
request in there. So
All right, so let's stand up,
let's
shall
stand
we? And let's let this
And don't
wonderful
forget-
time together, the celebration, continue on.
and we'll see you at Men and Women's Group if you choose to stay. I guess I'm ending.
We are eternal, we are boundless, born of infinite bliss consciousness. By the grace of love, we are eternal, we are boundless, we choose peace and happiness. By the grace of love, so let's surrender, knowing everything's gonna be alright. We come from and return to love. Let's all surrender, knowing everything's gonna be alright. We come from and return to love. Yeah. And return to love.
So I want to just give some thank yous. Some thank yous right here and right now for this beautiful time that we've had together. For this amazing time that we've had together, creating a space, creating more and more of this love within ourselves, not creating it, but letting it expand, because we don't have to create anything. So I know that we did expand today and that we are taking this out into the world, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to see it manifested out in that world through each and every one of us as we spread the light, as we spread the love. And I give thank you because today wouldn't be possible without all the wonderful people that served today. So I give thanks for Michelle for doing those beautiful announcements, for Stephanie and Donna at the door, and also for their being collection stewards today. For Rob Jones, who brings our message out into the world through live stream and also served today as practitioner RSCP licensed. Thank you, Rob. For Jonathan on sound back there to make sure we're heard. And for the flowers. Who brought the flowers today? Karen, thank you. They just appeared. Everything appears in abundance here. Thank you, Karen, for those beautiful flowers. And for Reverend Diane in the bookstore. And for, oh my goodness, for Janice and George for creating our youth program, and for Maria for our music today. Thank you, Mahalo, and Luis, thank you for joining with the drums. It's always such a pleasure to have you up here. And for Richard Diamond for being back, Patrick just whispered in my ear, for being back in health and strength. We love you, Richard. Thank you. And for everyone here, thank you, thank you, thank you. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. I know that we go forth to heal, prosper, and bless all of our lives and those lives that we touch as we affirm together, and so it is.
We are eternal, we are boundless, born of infinite bliss consciousness. By the grace of love, we are eternal, we are boundless, we choose peace and happiness. By the grace of love, so let's surrender, knowing everything's gonna be alright. We come from and return to love. Let's all surrender, knowing everything's gonna be alright. We come from and return to love. Yeah, we come from and return to love. To love.
And so it is. Namaste.
Beautiful.